Hey guys, we are live. I'm Jeff with eBay Addicts, and today I have a brand new guest here with me today. I have John Dash is here from the Dash Theory TV. Is that how you say it?
Yep, Dash Theory TV. Exactly.
All right, guys. So we're live. If you have questions for our guests, go ahead and drop it in the chat real quickly in case people don't know who you are. Kind of introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and tell them what it is that you do.
Yeah, so John Dash Theory TV on all socials, on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. And make content about the gig economy, giving people tips and tricks and the things that I learn on my everyday journey to help people spread those best practices, help you make the most money, and teach you as much as I know, especially when there's an update, how to react to it and how to beat algorithms to the best of our ability.
All right. So today we're going to mainly talk about how you can make a full-time income doing Walmart Spark. This is one of your main go-to apps that you use on a regular basis. So real quickly, because we kind of like to talk about our backstory real quickly. So tell people kind of how you got started into this whole gig economy and got started on Walmart Spark, and tell people kind of like what your experience has been like so far.
Yeah, so initially got into the gig economy back in, I want to say 2018, 2019, looking to buy a house and needed some extra income. So initially started driving for DoorDash, making a couple hundred extra a week and saving that up, and ended up instead of leading to buying the house and getting my savings right and all that type of stuff. And then in 2020, early 2020, got laid off, and kind of went to full-time gig driving for a while. And then once I came back to working from home, now I do it part-time, and it's a great extra income. And now I create content about it, try to help others because I see that it has a long-term future as far as helping people make ends meet, helping them save for trips or things that they need, just in their every day-to-day life, helping them make ends meet. So, as far as Walmart Spark, I've been doing Walmart Spark since about September of last year. And just like a lot of people, it took me about 8 months to get onto Walmart Spark. I remember signing up for them initially last year's 2022 in late 2021, and or maybe it's early 2022, but basically not getting on until September. And but since getting onto Walmart Spark, it's one of my favorite apps as far as delivery wise, as far as shopping goes. Within my market, I feel like I drive less and make more. Even if some days are better than others, I still have the other gig apps to go to, the Uber Eats, the Shipt, etc. So it's my primary app for the last 8 months or so, and so I've been enjoying it.
All right, now that's awesome. So yeah, I'm still on the waiting list, guys. I applied, I don't know, 6 months ago, 8 months ago. I haven't heard anything back from them yet, so I think I'm still on the waiting list here in Tampa. So kind of let's break it down kind of the way that it works for you, because on Walmart Spark, you get your base pay from doing your deliveries. You get your incentive pay. If you get so many deliveries done, you get an incentive, and then you get customer tips on top of it. So how much money do you think a person can make in an average day doing Walmart Spark? Maybe $200-300? Like, what do you think is possible if you if you were out there and hustled all day long?
I think you can make a solid 200 if you hustled all day long for sure. Potentially 300 depending on how big the tips are. But I think 250 should be achievable. One thing I do like about Walmart Spark is orders start dropping as early as 7 a.m. So if you're up and at it, that's when they're the most. That's one of the times they're the most busy is when they first open. So you can start earning from 7 a.m. and then throughout the day get orders every hour. And then about 4 or 5 p.m. later afternoon, that's when the evening orders, the people getting home from work, those orders start popping on. And I believe they go all the way until 8 p.m. So if you're there going from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be able to make on average, $15, $20 an hour, be able to make $250 in a day.
All right, so it's definitely achievable. So let's say if you had a full-time job and you work Monday through Friday, and you were looking for something to do on a Saturday, Sunday, you definitely think someone can make $400 or $500 easy on the weekends if they just wanted to work on the weekends only? Think it's possible?
Just for like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, easy 500. Yeah, you're doing those 3 days. Because I would say, Fridays. I would say Saturday, Sunday are the busiest days in my market. Fridays, evenings, Friday afternoons, people getting ready, especially if it's alcohol delivery in your market. Yeah, definitely.
All right, cool. Now, let's kind of break it down. If someone has not signed up with Walmart Spark before, kind of break it down and kind of explain a little bit about how this thing works. So, I mean, When do they just give orders out to people at random, or does it depend on what your rating system is on the computer, or do they just go to whoever the closest driver is to the store? Or kind of elaborate a little bit.
So yeah, it's a little bit of all those things. So one thing that is big is proximity. When they send out their orders, they go to the people that are closest to the store. They say it prioritizes people with higher acceptance rate, but that's not necessarily with better orders. Just maybe when it's not as busy, you can get orders versus somebody with a lower acceptance rate. Did a lot of testing on that in some recent videos, and I kind of got mixed results on that one. And then the third thing, what was the third question? So the acceptance rate, the proximity,
And your rating system on the app. It has a rating system, right?
It has a rating system, right? So I think this what I've kind of discovered is that it has like a rating system, and I don't think that impacts the orders you get. With Walmart Spark, I'm a person that after my test, I'm advocating for cherry picking, because although having a better rating may get you more orders, it may not necessarily get you better orders. What I found in my testing is that the tips are random. Even if you have a high acceptance rate, doesn't mean you're going to get all the big tip orders. And in most markets, tips are what make the day. Getting a big tip on a big order, that's going to make your hour. The other challenge is that they have kind of an hourly order drop. So if 8 o'clock, you get an order dropped, you might not see another order until 9 o'clock. So the other thing is you probably want a multi-app. I like Uber Eats because you don't have to have a schedule. You can just, hey, I'm done with my Spark order, turn on Uber Eats, get an order for that until the next hourly drop. They call it a round robin. And the other thing is they have different order types too. So one of the things that really attracted me to Spark is they have these curbside pickup orders where they load your car, you just drop it off to the customer. You don't have to shop for it. They have lower base pay, but they can also have higher tips on those orders. So if you're getting those consistently in your market, that's good money. The other type of order they have is a shop and deliver order, which I think a lot of us do on Shipt, Instacart, or whatever. Those orders have higher base pay, so you don't need to have as high of a tip. And a smaller shop, a 10, 20 item shop, can easily pay $20, $25. So as far as if you're a good shopper and you're a quick shopper, that's easy money because you're more likely to be able to get 2 of those an hour than with a curbside pickup. And if you're just, you have a nice gas efficient car, a Prius, a Tesla, then they have these what's called these .com or general merchandise deliveries where they give you 15 to 20 small items. I'll say that, rephrase that. 10 to 20 small items. And it's like $50 going 30 miles or 40 miles. And if you can get that done in 2 hours, there's no tip baiting there. It's a high base pay. It's all base pay. And there's no big items like grills and TVs and cases of water. And so those, like I said, if you're just like to kind of have an easy day, listen to a podcast, drive around town, those orders might be the right type for you. So that's the one thing I do like about Spark with the different order types. You can kind of go with what's best for you. Me personally, I prefer shop and deliver orders because with my history of doing Shipt and now doing Walmart Spark, I can shop quickly. So those are like my main orders I prefer. Now, if I get a right price curbside pickup order, I definitely do those as well. So.
Yeah, so I haven't done Walmart Spark yet because I'm still on the waiting list, but I've seen other people on YouTube and they'll like run in and grab like a big TV and they'll get paid like $40-$50 to drive 10 minutes down the road to drop a TV off that they got at Walmart. So, I mean, does that happen for you? I mean, do you have runs where you make $40, $50, $60 on a trip? Tell people a little bit about what your experience has been on the app.
Yeah, so like within my market, like my rule in general is $20 or more, 5 miles or less. So that's typically I see that on curbside pickup. I can see that on shop and deliver orders. Now in my market, I typically don't get those big tips. For me, like a good order is probably $30 to $35, and I probably get those a couple times a week. Average order for me is probably around $20, but because of my market, a lot of times I'm getting $20, $25 driving 2 to 4 miles. So for me, it's a dollars to miles ratio. And if it's slow, I may drop down to $15, but even then, I'm still only driving 2 or 3 miles, so it's still $5 per mile. So that's the big thing for me in my market is dollars per mile. And if it's slow, then I look for a higher value order. So I'll drive, $25 going maybe 8 to 10 miles. That's rare. That's maybe twice a month, maybe 3 times a month. But that's my strategy.
All right.
Higher dollars, lower miles.
Hey,
But
John,
I
we're
don't get the
live.
$50 TVs in mine.
I want to say hello to a few people in the chat. I want to give a quick shout out here to BK from the Rockies is here in the chat. Trip is here. He wants to know how Walmart works. Wanted to say hey to Steven is in the chat. And then we have Kel Slater is here. Says, I'm in Pasco County, about 45 minutes outside of Tampa. Yeah, I live in Tampa as well. I think I signed up for Walmart Spark like maybe 6 months ago, 8 months ago for Walmart Spark. And listen, here in Florida, you may not know this, but Florida is the third most populated state in the country. There's a lot of people that have second homes down here. There's a lot of people that are snowbirds that have maybe a house up in Boston, New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia area. They come down here for the winter. I mean, Florida is the third most populated state that there is. So you're having to compete with more people in order to get the same opportunities that everybody else has. I mean, if you're trying to do anything, get a job, get a car, get an apartment, everything goes that fast. So, but yeah, if you haven't got able to sign on to Walmart Spark, I would try doing Amazon Flex. I usually make about 750, 800 a week doing that part time. And if you add that up, let's say you make $100 a day and you do that for 30 days in a month, you could easily make an extra $3,000 a month gross just picking up Amazon packages and delivering them. I just did a route yesterday and it was paid $100 block and it was a 3-hour route and I got done in 2 hours. So I mean that's even solid. If you take $10 out with gas, that's like $45 an hour, $50 an hour to deliver packages. So it's just you just have to take whatever opportunities you get and run with it. And I wanted to give a quick shout out here to my buddy here, the Zombie Bargain Hunter. So if you guys have questions for our guests, drop it in the chat now.
So I'll throw something out there too, real quick.
Go ahead.
Because I see a couple people talking about having trouble getting on, and this is something I just recently discovered, and I haven't tried myself because I'm already on Spark. But one thing that I heard is that if you're on the waiting list and your zone is full, that you can potentially contact support, ask them if there's any zones in your general area that aren't full, see if they'll onboard you into that zone, and then once you're onboarded, try to switch back to your home zone. Like I said, I've heard that. I haven't tried it myself, so slight disclaimer. But if you're not on, it's worth giving it a shot just to get on.
Hey, I mean, it won't hurt to try. So tell people a little bit about it real quickly about how the onboarding process was for you as far as you applying, because you were on the waiting list as well. It wasn't like that, that I was picked out of a crowd. You were on the waiting list for a while before you got on. So kind of tell people a little bit about what your onboarding experience was like with Walmart Spark. And then when you got approved, you were like off to the races, right?
Right. So with me, I think I got through different, there's 4 different steps in the application process. And I think I got, I signed up, and I'm going to say maybe in January, got to the second step sometime in February. And then pretty much was radio silence for about probably till sometime in the summer. So a solid 6 months, I would say, before I heard back from them again, then moved to the next step. And long story short, from the time I signed up to the time I started doing my first delivery was about 9 months, about enough time to have a baby. And so, yeah, that took me a while. So when people say, it took me 6-8 months, I've been on that waiting list. I've made a video about some things you can kind of try to reach out to the company. At the time it was DDI, but I've heard Walmart bought them, so I'm not sure if all that necessarily all works the same way. But I'm pretty sure it's all very similar. But essentially, they do have some links when they'll email you about different steps in the application process. Try to reach out to them. Any type of communication to say, hey, is there anything I need to do? Is there anything that I can do to get to the next step? I mean, it doesn't hurt to bug them a little bit. But yeah, I went to the same waiting game to get on Spark myself. Once I did get on Spark, though, like I said, it was off to the races. It's become my favorite gig app since being on there, just because for me, the curbside pickup type of order, which is the one where they just load up your car and you deliver it, I mean, those could easily be $20, $30, $40. And essentially you're doing, I would say, in my opinion, less work than DoorDash, because you're not getting out your car to load to get the item. All you're doing is unloading, hitting the buttons in the app, taking the picture, and then going back to the place. You don't have to drive all over town. So if it says it's 4 miles away, that's 4 miles to the customer, 4 miles back to the store. And yeah, so that's the biggest thing I like about that one is the kind of that home based system where you ideally don't have to drive too far out.
All right. So John, tell people your top 3 tips or piece of advice if they want to make a full-time income in Walmart Spark. What would be your top 3 tips or piece of advice to help them out whenever they do get onto the platform?
So my first thing would be to start early, 7 a.m. or that's what my Spark, most of my Walmart opens. I've heard of people getting orders maybe earlier in some other markets. I don't know. But first thing, 7 a.m., be there for that morning drop. People order overnight, so mornings are probably one of the busiest times. The other busiest time would be about that 4, 5 o'clock, 3, 4, 5, that afternoon when people are getting off of work and want their grocery delivered to make dinner that night. So I would say, shop during the busy times. Number two, I would say cherry pick. I mean, like my rule I mentioned, $20 or more, 5 miles or less. Of course, if your market is more rural and spread out, that may not work for you the same exact way. Or if your market is, inner city, it may be more dense than that. Essentially, cherry pick, find the orders that are right for you, and do as many of them as you can. But also adapt to your market. I know there's some people that don't like shopping, but my market, for example, sees a healthy amount of shopping orders. If I didn't shop, I wouldn't make as much money as I did. So I'll learn to shop, learn your Walmart, get those shoppings done quickly so you can potentially get multiple per hour. And then the third tip would be multi-apping. Because whether you're shopping, whether you're doing curbside pickup, Walmart has this hourly drop system where they drop new orders, I would say 8 times out of 10, essentially on the hour. Occasionally, you may get like an express or ASAP order that rolled over from the previous hour that nobody's taken. But typically, those aren't good orders. So you multi-app because when it's slow and Spark or when you're between those hourly drops, just adding one $7 Uber Eats order on top of a, say, $20 Spark order you just did, now you're up to $27 an hour there. And that's not to mention if you did 25 plus 7, now you're at $30+ an hour. So definitely got a multi-app to make the most money. Ideally with food delivery, since those are quick hitting deliveries. And sometimes you can even do like an extra 2 between deliveries for Spark. So just finding that balance in your market and maximizing it to the most.
So by far, if you had to rate Walmart like 0 out of 5 stars, Walmart Spark, how many stars would you give it out of 5 stars?
I would give it a 4. I'll give it a solid 4 in my market. Now, the biggest thing is that there's still going to be those no-tip orders. But if it's a shopping order, those have higher base pay. So sometimes a no-tip order may be worth it. Just, I think, a week or 2 ago in a video I'm editing right now, there was a $27 no-tip order going 6 miles I took. And it was a bigger order, but it was at an apartment complex. Luckily, this complex had an elevator, so that made it even easier. Threw it all on my little cart. Oh, that's probably be the other thing. Get a cart. Get a collapsible cart. Don't hand carry everything.
With wheels, and it's got the little handle on it, like a little wagon.
Exactly. Yeah, get that wagon. That's been my best investment. Like people see me sometimes on delivery, they're like, "Oh, what's gonna come out and help you?" I see people come all the time carrying like 5 trips by hand with these cases of water. I'm like, not me, buddy. Not me. Work smarter, not harder.
I'm with it, man. So I want to give a quick shout out here to Boss Up with Kale is here in the chat. He says, order stacking and multi-apping. So you guys get a chance, go check out Boss Up with Kale, his channel as well. So speaking about YouTube channels, tell them where they can find you at, check you out at on YouTube and Instagram. They want to come follow you, come check you out because, bro, you kind of go behind the whole algorithm. You do things kind of like out of the box thinking, and you do things a little bit different than everybody else. That's kind of like one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on. So tell them where they can find you at on YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, my channel is Dash Theory TV on YouTube, and I maintain that social on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Dash Theory TV. If you want to contact me, I always tell people DM me on Instagram, and I check that at least once a day on average. There's maybe a day I miss here and there, but I'm at least on there once a day. As far as direct communication would be my Instagram. DM me on there. Not on Twitter too much. But yeah, besides that, other way I would say on my YouTube videos, post a comment and I'll follow up. Obviously, if it's attached to a video that has a question related to that, I'll answer it right there. But yeah, Dash Theory TV on all socials.
All right, now John, I can't let you go until you tell us a little bit of stuff behind the curtains here. What other type
All
of
right.
future goals or future projects are you working on right now? Because I can tell you kind of like me, you always got something on the back burner. What other type of projects do you have that you're kind of working on, or do you have any other major goals that you're working on, maybe coming up in the next 2 or 3 years? So tell us a little bit about, kind of take us behind the curtain real quick. Tell us about some other things you're working on.
Oh yeah, so a couple of things. Probably the biggest thing, kind of a, I don't know, it's called top secret, but the probably the most not directly related to gig content yet somewhat related to gig content is a project that started probably a couple of weeks ago called Dash Theory Radio. Just spin some flows and got some beats and gonna try to make a little bit of I'll say music for lack of better terms, but for gig workers, by gig workers, stuff that we can relate to and listen to while we're driving around. And
Yeah.
hopefully it's actually good music. So that's probably the project of the next year to down the road long term. But yeah, if you like that type of stuff, if you like hip hop, look for Dash Theory Radio on one of my shorts and let me know if you like the bars. Got another version of that coming out with the beat in the near probably next week or two.
That's cool, bro. That's cool. So all the links, if you guys want to sign up for Walmart Spark, the link's going to be listed down below. If you want to go follow our guests on YouTube, Instagram, all the links are going to be down below. You have any final thoughts or words of wisdom that you can leave our audience with? And then we'll let you go. We'll give you the last word, Don.
Man, the biggest thing is always be evolving. You know, that's why I make videos. Always these apps are always updated. I'm always trying to evolve, find the tips and tricks. When they react, I read and try to, learn as fast as I can and get that new information out there. Try to help people follow the best practices. So I'm always looking for new best practices. That's why I watch other people's content, and sometimes that's why I hope people are watching my content. And if they can explain it a different way or have a different angle at it, feel free to comment. Feel free to show me a video. Yeah, I'll definitely help promote other people that help the gig economy, that help gig workers. Yeah, it's all about the community to me.
Hey, I appreciate your time, man. Guys, go ahead and follow our guys. Coming up here in another 3 to 6 months, you're going to look up. He's going to be at 10,000, 20,000 subscribers. So just go ahead and follow our guys. He has a very analytical mind, and he's not afraid to roll his sleeves up and get his hands dirty and go out here and hustle. So anyways, till next time, you guys go ahead and follow our guests. The link's going to be down below, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Till next time, you guys have a great day. Bye, guys.
Peace.